Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Chris Shangro here and Tammy Sellers. We are your hosts this morning for our training segment. And this Saturday, we're doing the October Rush, which is the third segment where we did actually three. This is our third training where we've been training on the segments of 10 days, counting a total of 30 days. Let me just share my screen here so we can have some visual. And let's move on to the slide. And folks, the reason why we're doing this is we're giving you guidelines. It's a map, right? It doesn't have to be exact. And what's really good here is if you go to the training, you'll notice on the comments segment there that I've added the segments on what we call the success cycle series, where inviting our prospecting, inviting, following third party credibility, handling objections. These are some of the basic modules that are critical to have the right tools to build your business. Before we continue here, I just wanted to recognize some of you that are here bright and early. Bakshir, welcome. Great to have you here. We have Joe, welcome. Great to have you here. Mark Stevens from Idaho, USA. Courtney from Canada. We have Nick from Hamilton, Ontario, Canada. Welcome, welcome. We have Francis, welcome, from Ghana. We have Enyonam from Ghana. We have Telma, welcome. And Jeffrey, thank you for joining in. And I know that many of you are going to be joining in. And some of you, I know you're staying silent. That's totally cool. And fortunate, great to have you here from Ghana. And so let me carry on the segment here. So again, what we're doing is the third segment on recruiting 10 people in 30 days. Now, this segment really focuses on the final push, right? So is the 10 signups, that is the goal. That's what we want to achieve in 30 days, but also the full duplication. You know, a lot of people are asking, how come you guys can make so much money in this business? And it's not because we're anybody special. It's because we focus on duplicating the mechanical steps that needs to be produced so people can move up in rank and increase their paycheck. And if you happen to be upline to such an organization, then of course your income will grow exponentially, specifically when when the numbers are increasing. So the objective here is to complete the campaign as we're coming to an end here, right? And give it a final push, right? Ensuring both you and your new member reaches your goal. That's very important. And to help you put a bit of win on your sale, we have the contest that's still in place. And by the way, I took that yesterday, so it's 12 days today. So we're 12 days to the end of the month. So again, first place gets $500, and second place gets $300. Third place gets $200, fourth place gets $100, and fifth to 10th place gets $50, which I think is really generous, because again, this compounds on top of the income that will generate from your the income every time you recruit someone, especially if they pay for the year. That's a pop, $50 a pop, and then of course the residual aspect for the bonuses, which are obviously going to be adding on to this. So Tammy, let's start with day 21, assess in progress.
Absolutely. So the key is to always evaluate where you're at in any campaign in the growth, right? And to take the time to see where your target is. Like, look at the numbers that you've already signed up and see where you need to go. Go through your follow-up lists of people you need to connect with. And also check in with your members, right? Check in with your team members that are actually working the campaign. Not everybody's working the campaigns, you guys. Not everybody does that. But the ones that do, those are the ones that you want to spend your time with and focus on, is help the people who want to grow in your business. And I always say, love everybody where they're at. Not everybody wants to do it, but the ones that do, give them what they need to help them grow. And at this stage, honestly, there's got to be several names on people's lists on follow-up in your team members. And so you want to be there to guide them through the process, and even be there to be that third party to do the calls with them or hop on a Zoom with them. Chris and I do this all the time. So this is where we're at in the process is evaluation. Always evaluate and do what you need to do to move forward.
I totally agree, Tammy. And again, folks, the guidelines we're giving you here again is a map. Okay, the
Mhm.
giving you is just to give you a sequence, a logical sequence from the beginning to the end. But don't feel like, oh my God, I haven't done this, I haven't done that. That's totally fine, right? We understand that the life is not robotic. It's not necessarily systematic. It's chaotic, right? So things can happen as long as you understand the flow and you take a logical next step every time that there's a new day towards your goals. And that's what's important here. So let's go back to that sequence here on day 22. It says target remaining leads. So what that means is, as we build our business, often we meet people, right? I was mentioning, I think last weekend, I went for a haircut, and I prospected the person that was cutting my hair. He's not really business oriented. He really didn't see beyond his limitations, and that was the end of it, right? But the fact is, I do follow up, and that's the point here. Is you want to follow up with any remaining leads that really haven't signed up yet, because sometimes they do want to sign up. It's in the back of their mind, but something came about. As you know, life has constant, you know, roadblocks and situation that gets in front of you. And sometimes you have to deal with that. And because of this, you kind of put whatever you were thinking about in a back burner. But when you make that phone call as a follow-up, it brings it forward again as, oh yeah, okay, yeah, let me look into this. Yeah, let me start it. Oh, it's only $10. Yeah, let me try it. You know what? Let me pay for the year. I've been using Dropbox for so many years, and I kind of like the fact that I can get paid here. Let me do this, right? Things happens all the time, but you do need to take the action to follow up and following through in your follow-up process. And also use this opportunity to clear up any last minute objections, some things that you haven't done, right? Some things that are pending. Maybe you promised someone to send a text or a message that you completely forgot. So it's really, really good to have some structure in your daily operation, so you can have, so your opportunities doesn't slip through your fingers, where you're always moving forward to the next step. Back to you, Tammy.
Yeah, and one thing that you can do is when people are not interested, is ask them if they know anybody who's
Mhm.
entrepreneurial. Ask them if they know anybody who wants to generate some extra income. And some people will give you names, or they'll contact people and give them your number. So there's always that. When you're kind, in the way we go about building the business is relationship building, because you never know what's going to happen to them down the road. Number one is always keep contact with people, right? But ask for referrals. I do this all the time if somebody's not interested. And yeah, I've had great success asking for referrals. And don't be afraid to ask, you guys. You got to learn to ask for things. People are just not going to automatically give you things. You have to ask for it, right? So get comfortable asking them if they know anybody who could really benefit from something like this, especially entrepreneurs. Entrepreneurs, they have content, right? They're already backing up. They're already doing this stuff. So it gets their wheels rolling, because if they start to think about other people, it may be an opportunity for them to go, well, wait a second here, maybe I should be part of this, right? That's happened to me before. I've got people engaged because they knew people, and we end up getting them in the business for them. So conversations will lead to so many wonderful things. And when you do it in a way that's very kind and relationship building, you're going to move forward really fast. If you're doing this to get that sale, people know you guys. They really know. Okay, so build relationships in the process, and just say, hey, maybe down the road, maybe it's not a good time for you right now. And I totally get it. You got lots of things going on. You should have had some conversations up to now, knowing what's going on in their lives. And then you can say, hey, let's recap on this in the next, I don't know, maybe in the next 3 months. Does that work for you? And they're going to tell you, you guys. Okay, so constantly move people forward, even if they're not signing up, when you want to drive your numbers on a campaign, because they may be your superstar 6 months from now? You just don't know, right? Keep those relationships going strong. Always talk to new people. That's the key. Always moving forward. Don't get hung up on the same old, same old. You've got your list. Uh, they haven't made a decision. They're avoiding your phone calls. Whatever it is, move forward, you guys. This is a business. Okay, don't get hung up on the little things. You got to move forward. All right, new people on your list constantly. Those who are doing that are the ones that are doing well in this company. Okay, so always grow your list and engage your members to do the same. It's that simple.
And what's really fun, guys, is we have constant presentations constantly. If you're part of a Telegram group, you'll notice that whenever there's a presentation in place, it's going to be promoted there. I know that many of you now have you have your own respective groups. So it's normal. There's maybe less activities in the in a big Telegram group because everybody has their own group. And this is exactly what Tammy and I promote is build your own leadership. So you're not just counting on 2 people or 3 people to decide how your life is going to turn out, right? You take control of your own life by having your own environment, your own groups. And that's really, really, really important. But what's important is that you constantly send new people to the information that is out there to share the opportunity. So here, day 24 is live presentation optional. We put optional because when it doesn't have to be live, it could be a recorded call. There's many, many, many of them. You don't have to wait an entire week. You can actually use one of the calls that are available and send them over and do this every single day, right? So again, the thing is that you want to schedule a final presentation with your prospect maybe, right? Or leverage from the company presentation. On Wednesday, Joel share his point of view from his experience and how the company got started and everything else. So it's a bit of a different approach because he uses it from his own point of view as the creator and the owner of this company. And then on Friday, Tammy and I will do a generic presentation that we do every single Friday. It's not designed to entertain you. It is designed to entertain the new prospect, if you understand my meaning. Something says, well, it's always the same thing. Well, if you tell yourself that, that's because you're not building your business. Because if you're building your business, there's new people introduced to the presentation. It's not the same thing for them. It's a new experience. In fact, Tammy and I were part of a leadership mastermind. I think it was about last month, and this one guy, who is actually a multimillionaire in network marketing, says, I've been doing the same presentation for 19 years. Same presentation for 19 years. It's the repetition that makes this work, not the new entertainment of having this new little shiny toy in his presentation to entertain you. And this is what happens. That's the difference between the professional and the amateur in this business, folks, is that if you want to be a professional, folks, you constantly invite people to the presentation and not always looking to be entertained so you come back to the presentation. That's the difference between the professional and the amateur. What Tammy and I do here, we teach professionals. We breed leadership. And why do we do that? Because leadership will breed more leadership. And leadership is what makes the engine work. And the rest will follow. You don't want to be just following, then be a leader. And you don't, and here's the irony. The best leaders are the best followers. Is not interesting. So the fact here is constantly expose new people to the presentations. This is how you grow. This is how you evolve. And don't hesitate. That's what works. And again, folks, don't wait. That's why the word optional is there. Don't wait for the actual live presentation. There are hundreds of presentations recorded out there. And we have a playlist that points to all of them. You can listen to some of them and just to get a feel for what's being shared there and the way it was shared in that particular segment and that particular week that you may actually like. And you may want to save that link so you can pass it on. Remember, you also have your prospecting link and so forth. So we'll come back to that here, but constantly expose new people to the presentation and not just expect to be entertained by attending a presentation. That's the difference between making money in this business and staying and being stagnant.
Absolutely, Chris. Great advice for everybody. And the next two Wednesdays are the 23rd and the 30th. You write down these presentations in your calendar for the Joel presentation. The CEO is going to be presenting always on Wednesday nights. Okay. And then Chris and I do Friday at 11 a.m. We really tap into the global markets on our Friday presentation. And there's great presentations going on right now in Africa, in Italy, in different parts of the world. Spanish. I mean, Chris and I were on a phenomenal presentation last Tuesday where we got to speak as guest speakers and just answer questions and share the vision. And it was full of people. It was phenomenal. Support the events, you guys. This is really important. Showing up is critical. If you want to succeed in business, you got to show up. You got to show up and learn. And then eventually, in the process of learning, you're going to be able to do your own presentations over time. Okay. But when you show up to learn. And then, of course, the most important thing is don't show up alone, is to bring guests, like Chris was saying. Very critical. I mean, at this stage in the campaign right now, it's all about bringing people to the information, getting them signed up, follow up, getting them signed up. A lot of people right now are probably in your pipeline. Not everybody showed up to a presentation. Maybe that's their next step for them to make a decision, you guys. Okay, maybe their next step right now is just answer a few questions before they make a decision to get started. So it's a process of constantly moving people to make decisions. Okay, and learn how to create that sense of urgency because the timing is now. I mean, data storage era is now. And if they want to wait, they can wait down the road. But now is when it's happening, right? So you got to learn to have conversations to be able to create that sense of urgency and find out why they're not making the decision today. Often it's the simplest little thing to move them forward to make that decision, right? That's why you got to build relationships, have conversations. Communication is key. Okay. And there it just shows you on the slide an example of something that you can say, it's your last chance to take advantage of the October campaign. They can also be part of the campaign. It's 10 days left, right? So if you contacted people over the weekend and you say, hey, we still got 7 days left, you've got an opportunity to win this contest. If it's something that, if it's something that interests you to make extra money on top of the comp plan, right? And that might be that push for that person. You never know. So constantly communication, moving them forward, constantly.
Agreed. And day 26, folks, again, it's just a sequence here, is support your new members. And this is, I think, what's missing the most from our experience in looking at people's activities is they sign people and they walk away. And that's the challenge. Help your new member, first of all, close their final leads, their final sales, their final prospects. I should say prospects instead of leads. Okay. And Tammy mentioned earlier, Randy invited us to be part of his leadership is Sylvia, who is Spanish. I believe she's either in Mexico. Yeah, and there were people from Colombia that was doing a translation for us, and it was just a wonderful experience, right? And at the end of the presentation, so she did the presentation in Spanish, and then we invited us to share our testimony, and then we were translated. It was absolutely phenomenal. And you can feel, the excitement within the team where they were all commenting and adding their own perspective as to what we were sharing and everything else. It was just a lot of fun. But my point in sharing this with you is that Tammy and I always make ourselves available to our leadership. We happen to be crown diamonds with this business, and it just happens to be a position where a prestige and we want to help people to be inspired and reaching and even passing us. I can't wait to the day where someone's passing. You have no idea. Because if someone passes me, I can just duck, let them go faster than me. The benefit is we benefit from the income that's generated. Do you understand what I'm saying? So there are people that are going to be way more powerful than you are, way better than you are. That's cool. Embrace it, endorse it. Don't try to be competitive and try to push it down because you're the upline. You should be. That is not the right way to look at that. If someone just turns around and looks at a piano and just starts playing like Mozart's, you know what I mean? Let them go. It's a gift. It happens to be part of your organization. Why am I sharing this with you? Because so many times we've seen people self-sabotaging because of ego, in fear of this part's going to pass me. It's going to make me look bad. Doesn't make you look bad. Makes you look good. That means you've done something right to attract these people into your world, into your life. Look at it that way. So the point here, back to this slide here, is share the strategy of, let's say, handling objections. You'll notice when you go to the comment segment, I refer people often to that because on the comment segment, that's where we can add the rest of the stuff. You'll notice that we have the playlist of the Success Cycle series, which will walk you through the prospecting, the inviting, the following up, the third-party credibility, handling objections. You want to watch those over and over and over and over. We have made millions in this industry doing this. Now, let me tell you, $millions is nothing. Some people can say, I've made millions. Yeah, you've done it for 20 years. My point I'm trying to say here, folks, is $1 million is not that. So my point I'm trying to tell you is to earn an income in this business, you need to be consistent and you need to have the tools and need to apply the tools. And if this is repeated over time, it compounds. Just like any investment you've done in your life. If you keep putting a little bit into it, 10 years, 15 years, 20 years goes by, and then it compounds. Eventually, you got millions in there. Do you understand my point? So handling objections is one of the tools that is critical for you to invite people to be in your circle and to get a better understanding of what it is you're looking at. Don't be all wrapped up with the little problems. They'll get solved. The problems get solved all the time. You have to keep moving forward, as Tammy shared. Keep moving forward. Keep moving forward. Don't stand still and hoping that everything's going to be fixed. It's not going to happen. The world doesn't work that way. You keep moving forward, and as you keep moving forward, things will get fixed along the way. But at the end of the day, it's all up to you. And you'll find that an organization that thrives has to do with the leadership that's in front of them. So again, always be there to support your new members. Don't let them fend for themselves, especially at the beginning. It's like a newborn. A newborn needs a lot of TLC. Very, very, very important. Back to you, Tammy.
Yeah, you constantly have to remind your members that you're always there for them. We're always there for our team members. And we're always here on Saturdays to make sure that everybody gets what they need to build their business. And it's important to be there, not just for your team members, but the overall, because at the end of the day, we all have a common mission. And that's to make sure that Got Backup is an absolute thriving company, right? The more the company thrives, the more people grow in ranks, the more people grow in income. And you don't have to be a top leader to do this stuff, you guys. You don't have to be a top leader. If you're just starting, just do the simple things. At the end of the day, the top leaders are doing the simple things every single day. And they're teaching the simple things every single day. And that's why people are growing. So don't focus on, where they're at. Focus on doing the simplicity in the business. That's what we do every day. We focus on simplicity. Simple things repeated over time become very, 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 very large things. Okay. So on day 27, this is when I get really excited, you guys. I like contests. I like having fun. I'm that type of personality. So day 27 is the day that you really want to hone in on what's lagging here. Who do you need to follow up with? Who hasn't seen a presentation with? That's when you really get into that final crunch to see if there's anybody missing, or haven't seen anything yet that you could move forward in the next 3 days. Okay. And like I said, you don't want to push people. You want to encourage people to see the bigger vision, of course, and to see what's missing for them to sign up. But you don't want to push them off your list. Be very, very careful with that. This is a relationship building business. So be careful with that. You want to keep relationships with every single person you meet. And if it's down the road, it's down the road, right? So keep moving forward. Contact the next person, and see who is ready to get started. And that's it. This is a follow up process. And that's where you're spending all of your time from the 27th on moving forward.
Agreed. On day 28, folks, now we're getting to a close. We're getting to an end, right? To the close conversation. Focus on closing conversation using direct language to get prospects over the line. Don't be afraid to ask for the sell in fear of getting a no. It's okay if you get a no. I'm telling you, it could be a soft no. It could just be that they need a bit more information. Instinctively, human beings lately, we're like, no, because we're overwhelmed with everything. Everybody wants more money for less. So people say, no, I got. So that's the response. It's an automatic response. But then you can use some examples like, I hate for you to miss out on securing your data with God Backup with such great value, right? It's another way to generate a source of income, knowing that they need that. So let's get you signed up today. Hey, listen, $100 a year, it's not going to break you. Why don't we just start with maybe, let's start monthly, right? Let's see how this goes. It's not a big investment. So the point here, folks, is just conversation. I often use, and I use that all the time. I use our competitors with Dropbox, but it's not really a competitor in a sense, a competitor with our product for sure. And folks, wait till you see what's coming. There's a lot of great stuff coming with God Backup. We're constantly evolving, adding more value all the time. But what's the competitors don't offer is they don't pay you a dime to tell others about it. Always remember that. People tend to forget this. And that's probably one of the most important aspects of the sale is the income generating due to sharing this information with other people. And you're going to compare the product with their product, and that's it. And it completely overlooked that, oh, by the way, we get paid an income for telling other people about this. Oh, really? How much can I make? Well, let me show you. Let me explain to you how this works. I can go as far as, for example, if someone starts, if you'd say you bring me in and I start for the year, you get $50. It's actually close to $50. Really? So if you bring like 20 people like me, do the math. And from there, whatever business that comes from what I do, then you start getting a residual from that. Right. And then we call that cycling. It's really interesting. Every time 6 people come to your business that you brought them or someone else brought them above or below you, it counts. You see how I'm not explaining a comp plan in details. I'm just dripping information to try to get them to see the value. When people see value, it's easier for them to make the decision to want to be part of such a venture. And it's probably the reason why we don't really miss often. Right? If we do, it's simply because the person truly do not understand the value of business, and that's it. And Tammy they often say, love them where they are, and this is what I do. And it's not easy because sometimes I tend to be a little bit pushy because I want people to do well for themselves despite themselves, and that's where I need to work on. But you need to accept that you know what they're not ready, they're not prepared. Just let them be. Don't force the hand. Move on to the next. There's a lot of folks out there that are looking for an opportunity. It's a price point that everybody can afford, and it's a service that everybody needs. I assure you, as the technology evolve with these devices, folks, I'm telling you, don't rely on the memory that's going to come with the device. It is not going to be enough. I guarantee you, it's all going to be on the cloud. This is our future. God Backup is at the forefront of this future, and they pay you for it. You see what I'm doing here? I'm selling you on the benefits and the features and all of the asset to be part of this company, to be part of our team. That's when you want to speak to them, our team. And then from there, you bring them to our community and participate in the community, folks. Don't just stand there like a ghost, right? Participate in a community. That's what's going to create more excitement. Geez, I apologize. More excitement as we keep, as you keep moving forward with your organization. Back to you, Tammy.
Yeah, so that in this final push, what's really important, you guys, is to bring in the stories. This is the storytelling time, the final stories, and bringing somebody in that you feel that would really connect with that person to help you sell the bigger vision. Sometimes people need to see more than the person that's talking to them, especially if it's somebody that knows you for a long time, and maybe you haven't had the success that you wanted in the industry. Maybe you've done a few things and you've talked to them about other things before, and that credibility is just not there. Leverage somebody who could help you share the bigger vision of what this is about. Okay, this is something that Chris and I have done for so many years. I don't care what level I'm at. That doesn't matter for me. If I feel that the person that I'm talking with, I'm not quite getting that connection with them, I'm going to say, hey, I want to introduce you to Chris. I want to introduce you to Jane. I want to introduce you to John. And then create that connection between the two of them. They're also come from the tech world, or they're also entrepreneurs, and they got started with Got Back Up, and they were so impressed with what they've seen, with the amount of terabytes and the simplicity of it. And they're telling all of their friends, I'd love to introduce you to them. And then you're creating excitement for them to want to know somebody else who's just like them, an entrepreneur, and how did they do it? And so you're creating those connections that's going to help you grow your business. This is the busiest time for Chris and I, in any campaign or at the end of the month, where a lot of members are going to connect with us. The ones that are connecting with us, you guys know who you are, because you guys are the ones that are making the money. At the end of the day, that's what it is, right? So leverage if you feel that you're not moving that person forward. It doesn't matter what skills you have. Sometimes you just can't move everybody forward, and you need that third party to help you out. So really leverage that towards the end.
And Tammy, I know that you're very, very strong on that, as I am too, but I'm going to leave you that slide for you to kind of express the importance of celebrating the big and small successes.
Yeah, he's right. He's the guy that's going to, okay, it's over. Let's start with day one, right?
Let's
And
move on
I'm
to the
like,
next step.
no, we got to
All right.
celebrate.
Let's smell
You
the
got to celebrate,
flowers.
you guys.
Let's feel the
it's
grass.
hard
Remove
work
your
to build a
socks. It's
business.
just
It's
back to
hard
you.
work to build a business. Take the time. It doesn't matter what you do to celebrate. It doesn't matter if money is an issue for you. You don't need money to celebrate, right? You just go for a walk in the park, you do something and just celebrate. Hang out with your friends and celebrate, right? You got to take that time to celebrate, because if you don't, you're going to get so caught up in work, business, work, business. You need a balance in all of this. This has got to be fun. It's got to be worth the celebration at the end. You work hard, you want to celebrate that. And yeah, that's me, you guys. I truly believe in celebrating when you work hard for what you have.
I cannot stress and folks, with God Backup, you have access to celebrate all of your personals, and very, very few team members take advantage of that. A few leaders I recognize are doing this, but it's not enough. Every single one of you, if you have enrolled someone in God Backup and that person hit bronze or copper, Copper is 1% on your left, 1% on your right. If you've done that, you want to celebrate. Go in your back office. Go to what's the title called, Tammy? Leader rank or rank update. Let me just go back quickly here. If I go back to my business and it's right here, recognition rank up, right? This is so important. You click on that over here, and I'm taking the time because this is part of celebration. And from there, you'll have a list of all the folks, right? Someone just popped silver just recently. Here are all the coppers, and he goes on and on and on. If I go for 100 and I search this, you're going to see what's been going on. And you can go back in September and before that and see the list. And then you want to click that congratulation button, right? So look at this. We have an emerald. I just realized that just happened this morning right here, right? I know that I've recognized these guys last month. So there's a lot of recognition going on over here. Look at this. This goes on and on and on. And all of this are the team members. I have 19 pages of this stuff. Do you understand what I'm saying, folks? Is take advantage. It's at your fingertips. Just download the actual flyer and promote it into your respective groups, into your Facebook groups, into your social media. Celebrate. Doesn't matter how small it is. Babies cry for it. Adults die for it. We crave that recognition our entire existence. Absolutely critical. Now, as we end here, last slide here, folks, is taking accountability. You'll notice if I go back, I think I did right over here. This is the training that we're doing here. Success cycle. Let's see here. That's the playlist for the training. That's the one that's currently live right now. I don't want to go there. It's just going to start playing. Let's see. If you go to the comment section, let me just pause it right away. Okay. Okay. Pause. Okay. So if you go to the comment segment over here, okay, you notice here that you have the playlist. If you click on this playlist, okay, it's going to take you to the Success Cycle series, which is prospecting, inviting, following up, third party, handling objections. These modules over here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, these 5 modules here are so important. Now, the other thing I want to share with you also, if you go back to the comment segment, that's the topic of today. Here, I made it available where you can download a spreadsheet. Okay, so it's a Google form that you can just copy. Right? Don't ask me to give you access to it because you can change my stuff and mess up my form. So you can actually make a copy. You can go to File and you can make a copy. If you make a copy, you have your own version, and then you can print it, or you can import it into Office, whatever you want, right? Microsoft Office, on Excel or Apple, whatever the situation is for you. But the point here is that you can actually take note of the people, the contact you made Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and the total for the week. And you can see here what's going on. How many customers you got, how many associates you have. It's all there, right? So again, all of this is important, is to take daily actions. And again, you want to remind you, where do I access this information? All you have to do is you go to the actual existing presentation that we're doing live right now, as you can see, okay? And simply access this over here, or go back and follow these basic modules, which I call the Success Cycle series. This is how Tammy and I have had an enormous amount of success in this business, is by applying the same things for over 17 years. We've never changed. Maybe the slides have evolved a little bit because times are changing, approaches, wording, social media, things that are due now has evolved compared to what it was 10 years ago. My point in saying is that will change, but the strategies per se, as making your list, prospecting, inviting, following up, third party. How many of you have heard that's like 20 years ago, in the days of your first year network marketing with what's
Mark
his name?
Yarnell. Yeah.
Mark Yarnell.
I mean, we've been doing this for 28 years, Chris. Well,
I know.
for me, but yeah. I mean,
See, that's the
over and
thing,
over
folks.
and over repetitive. Yeah.
That's the thing. It's not always trying to find that new shiny toy to get you all excited. It's to repeat the same things over to new people, and not to constantly trying to entertain the people that are existing in the system. These guys have to get to work. The new people have to get exposed to the information, which is new to them. That's how you have to look at this, right? So team accountability, right? So you want to have some weekly check-ins with your organization. And this is exactly, I'm working with, we got backup right now with Joel and Eve to create a platform to create this kind of team support and accountability in multiple language. Right now it's in English, it's in French, it's in Spanish, and it's in Italian. And it's actually there and it's working. We just have to finish this. But these are all the things that are coming. And that's basically kind of implemented by the field, because the field are the one that builds the teams. And then corporate provides the tools, provides the money, right? So all of that is falling into place. And we have some wonderful people like Randy that has some really good strategies on, the practical and all that. We're all working together to create an absolute amazing, beautiful home that we can grow and evolve with, right? So by following these instructions, folks, I'm telling you, to recruit 10 people in 30 days, you can do this. Could you imagine if even 10% of the team members do that? The numbers are going to be massive at the end of the year. And here's the good news. October is done in about 12 days, but the training is there. The August rush is also there, right? You can see on the playlist. So the August rush is there, and when you go to the October rush, you notice that you have the October rush 10 in 30 days, part 2, part 3, which is what we're doing here today. That is the key, folks. And it's the key to success in our business as we end this training here this morning is repetition and duplication, consistency, congruency. And always remember that fortune favors the bold. Mm-hmm. If you stay quiet and you're a secret agent in his business, nobody knows that you're into it because you don't talk to anybody, nothing's going to change. Don't expect your upline to drop people underneath you. And even if that happens, you think that's going to grow enough to pay to build you a fortune? No, you got to do the work. This is not a lottery ticket, folks. It's an opportunity. It's an opportunity you have. You don't need a huge education with this other than learning to communicate to someone else and to using a cell phone or using a computer. And again, when I say using a computer, you don't need to be a master computer user. All you need to do is how to send emails and how to click and look at a website and go to your social media environment, and you go to YouTube, how do I? And you'll have a 12-year-old teaching you everything. So the fact is there's nothing missing here, folks. Everything is at your fingertips. It's entirely up to you. Don't decide what you're worth based on what the environment told you are worth. You are worth so much more than that. Don't believe the lie of society. You have no idea what you are worth. Folks, I'm telling you, your voice matters. But if you're a secret agent, nobody knows you exist, then nobody's going to move forward with whatever you have to share. You got to tell people about it. So tell me, what are your last thoughts as we finish?
Just run. The next 10 days, run with it. And even if you haven't started, make today your starting point. Okay? And just do 10 days of focused contacting people, following up with people. Those of you who have been following the program, you have many people in your pipeline. Keep going, keep doing all the steps that we shared with you. And there'll be other campaigns for sure. And the key is to constantly move your new people forward. That's the key, is elevating your new people and growing their businesses and being there to support them. People, it's important that you support your people, okay? And of course, be the example. And, I was thinking as Chris was talking, I was just looking in the sidebar in the comments. And, when people go back to the recording, they're going to see who's present, right? People always see who's present. So, it's important to show up. If you're serious about your business, you show up, right? And people see that too. How serious is my sponsor? They're gonna see if you're showing up. So it's absolutely critical to show up until they can do their own trainings, their own presentations, their own, where they don't need to show up to all of them. The leaders, diamond and above, some of them are just flourishing within their international markets. They've got their own presentations at the same time with their markets. So that's phenomenal. That's when you can not show up at the regular stuff. But until then, you got to be showing up constantly to grow your business, because your people are watching you.
You know what's really, Tammy is so right here, folks. And the last point here I want to finish on is this: we are showing up every single Wednesday night. Triple diamonds. We're always there, like the students, like when we first started on day one. And that's something we've always done. Lead by example. Show up. Don't just expect your team to show up and you just turn around and not, leg up watching Netflix on Wednesday night. I really recommend you show up. Very, very important. Watch the presentation, share your feedback. And remember, there are many, many presentations that are taking place during the week now. So of course, the numbers are spread out throughout these different presentations. So don't be too concerned on the fact, well, the numbers are not as high. That's because we have probably 15 presentations going on every week now. Not just one, but many. This is called duplication. And the reason why I can tell you is even this morning, as we are presenting, I've received emails. Oh, a new person sign up. Oh, a new person sign up. Oh, I showed you last week. So why is this happening? It's because there are many presentations taking place. It's not just about us presenting or Joel presenting or Dr. Kiwi presenting or Neonam presenting or Sylvia and Walter presenting or Noel presenting or whatever. I could go on and on and on here because I know there's many of you presenting. Mm-hmm. Sylvia in Spanish in a team. Mm-hmm. There's many.
Erica is now presenting.
Erica, that's presenting on a regular basis with I think Luz also, and from Puerto Rico and Colombia,
Philippines. Yeah, I mean it's really, really growing.
Yeah, exactly. So folks, listen, we really want to thank you for attending here today. I really hope that you're going to go back and listen to part one. Well, part one doesn't say part one. It just say 10 recruit 10 in 30 days. And then there's part two, same title, but part two, same title, part three, which is this one. And listen to the things we share. We're talking from experience. We're not just making that stuff up. We have lived the results of what we're sharing with you, and it's absolutely working. So have yourself a wonderful rest of your weekend. We will see you on Wednesday evening on the company presentation. And remember, yesterday, every Friday, 11 a.m., we do our presentation. And remember to stay tuned. If you go to the God Backup events, you'll notice that Joel has all the presentation there. God Backup has all the presentation listed with the speakers. Take advantage of this, folks. And there's a lot more coming your way as we keep moving forward. Don't get stuck on the problems, because the problems will get resolved. You get stuck, you're left behind, and the people who move forward will keep moving ahead. Keep moving ahead, folks. This is our advice. Have yourself a wonderful rest of your weekend, and thank you for attending, everybody, and bye for now.